I discussed this, and today we start specification grid and designing test items. So here, the remaining part is that grammar books and using newspaper. These are also useful supplementary materials that have given in TSC curriculum. So simply yesterday you raised your curiosity what is supplementary material and what is teaching material. So very brief points I have mentioned here, like supplementary material is anything that supplements or adds value of teaching and learning process in English class. So it supplements text, tasks, activities to enhance or to complete the teaching and learning process. So just what you have to understand is supplementary means we supply or we supplement to fulfill the missing part of textbook here. So textbook is not everything. Textbook is just one resource material or one reference material or students reading material. So it is not enough, not complete, not perfect, not obsolete materials, okay, to achieve the objectives of the curriculum. So the missing part of textbook or the lacking part of textbook can be supplemented by using other some materials. So they are called supplementary material. And teaching materials, teaching material is anything that can be used in the process of teaching and learning. So teaching material and supplementary material, and they are different concepts. Here I have mentioned teaching material can also be used, can also be understood as anything that can be used while teaching. Teaching material facilitates the process, whereas supplementary material supplements or completes the process. We use supplementary materials and activities to provide something that is missing in the textbook. Textbook, textbook contains textbook consists of lacking part, and to fulfill or to complete or to supplement, to supply the lacking part, we use supplementary material. It creates variety in the classroom. It gives new concepts, new flavor in the classroom. So to give learners extra practice or just to bring something different in the lesson activity. So this is supplementary. Okay. Then teaching material can be anything and that we can use in the process of teaching and learning that facilitates the teaching and learning process, not the purpose of our supplementation. Supplementary भन्ने something lacking के चीज अभाव छ, अपुग छ, त्यसमा चाहिँ complete गरिदिनको लागि we add. So it is additional material to supplement, to complete, to fulfill the lacking part, missing part of the textbook. In this way we can understand, right? So this is what dictionary we discussed, and here some question answer also I have prepared, and I have sent this document to the union administration. So I hope you will get it. So discussed about supplementary materials in teaching and learning English. Also mentioned with examples how can a newspaper be used to promote English language learning of the lower secondary level students. So this is sample answer I have mentioned. Supplementary materials, anything that supplements or adds value of teaching and learning process in English class. It supplements text, tasks, and activities to enhance or complete the teaching and learning process is envisioned by the curriculum and the textbook. पाठ्यक्रम र पाठ्यपुस्तकले जे परिकल्पना गरेको छ त्यसलाई complete गर्नको लागि supplementary materials will be useful. We use supplementary materials and activities to provide something that is missing in the textbook. Textbook ले complete गर्न सकेन, textbook ले address गर्न सकेन. So that lacking part and missing part of the textbook can be supplemented, can be supported by some additional resources. They are called supplementary materials to give learners extra. And these things you have mentioned. And some of the examples of supplementary materials are these. And then talking about newspaper. This is English newspaper is one of the useful and relevant supplementary materials in English class. We understand it. Newspaper is versatile and dynamic in nature, in the sense that it can be used to teach all language skills and aspects communicatable and contextually. So textbook tries to link outside world inside the classroom, but it is not enough to complete itself. Not enough or complete itself. So using newspaper supplements this objective of linking or bridging outside world and outside world inside the classroom, or skill getting in the classroom situation and skill using in the real life situation. So textbook aims to bridge this kind of gap, but it is not enough itself, complete itself. So if we supplement other, like newspaper, like grammar book, like other dictionary, then these lacking part or missing part can be what fulfilled or completed. And for example, we can get many different samples of advertisement, condolence, sympathy, news that are useful text for reading. Similarly, news report, letter to the editor, stories are few examples, a few possible texts that can be used to teach writing skills. Cartoons, pictures of newspaper can be used for oral skills. Many grammatical items like articles, prepositions, passive and active sentences, conditional sentences, tenses can also be practiced by the use of pieces or extracts of news. So it is needless to say that vocabulary knowledge can be increased by the regular use of newspaper. So to teach English, communicatively, to teach English contextually, to complete or to support the textbook, content, we can use newspaper because this is such versatile and dynamic in nature, can be used to teach all language skills and aspects of language. In this way we can give from the above ideas, what we can say is newspaper is good way to teach English in an innovative way. It gives new flavor or different experience in English class. That is what textbook misses or newspaper supplements. So textbook misses, newspaper supplements. Now chants and songs, here few points are mentioned here, and one example of this song given here. Now your question here, supplementary materials address just like a newspaper, chants, dictionary, and grammar books can be used as useful supplementary materials in English class. Discuss with examples how can these materials be used in English learning, in English language learning. So चारवटालाई कहिले कहिले यस्तो क्वेसन सोधिन सक्छ, newspaper, chants, dictionary, and grammar books can be used as useful supplementary materials. Discuss with examples. ल भन्नुस् त कसरी हो भनेर यस्तो टाइपको क्वेसन सोध्न सक्छ हैन. So a sample answer I have prepared here. Just you can read and you can also update this answer. चारवटाको छ यहाँ, newspaper कसरी, dictionary कसरी हैन. This is just background information. So background चाहिँ तपाईले एउटै राख्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Just main concept is textbook is not enough. Curriculum has a kind of vision. Curriculum has a kind of vision, objectives, competencies, or learning outcomes. Then it is the textbook that aims to deliver the curriculum ideas. Textbook is one way, one means to deliver curriculum content. Then textbook creates context and content for the practice, language practice, or skills and aspect practice. So textbook itself is not complete, is not enough. So some ideas might be missing, some activities, tasks might be missing. Then we can supplement using other materials like newspaper, dictionary, chants, rhymes, and grammar books. Dictionary in our last class we discussed. Similarly, newspaper, just you got it, and chants, yesterday you got it. Develop oral skills, contextualization, develop confidence, learn grammatical structures, develop vocabulary knowledge, develop positive attitude in learning English. So this is about chants. And grammar book, this is this is also one supplementary material we can use in English class. So grammar teaching is always incomplete. We cannot teach grammar perfectly, so always it is tentative, so needs supplementary efforts. There is no such single book, single text, single task, and single activity that is fixed, final, absolute in teaching grammar. I know this to fixed, final, absolute, complete भन्ने नै हुँदैन grammar teaching. So there are many rules and regulations in English grammar, as well as there are many exceptional cases. So it is because of this, no single grammar book can address the reality of grammar learning. For this for the comprehensive teaching and learning of grammatical areas, grammatical items, grammar rules, we need to consult many other grammar books. These books are available in both printed and electronic copies. Many game-like activities, action-packed pictures, worksheet videos, context or situation, etc. are necessary while teaching grammar. We get those activities in different grammar books. Or यताबाट supplement गर्नु पर्यो हैन. So if we use different grammar books, then which content, like game-like activity, which content different action-packed pictures, then worksheets, videos, different context, creating context, then we can teach and learn grammar. So for this, no single book, no single text, no single activity, no single task can be what useful, perfect, complete, absolute. So there are many grammar books that can be used as supplementary material. In this way, we write. Finally, supplementary materials should create newness and give variety in learning English. Therefore, supplementary materials are not only necessary, but also they are compulsory to use in the present day of diverse needs of learners and knowledge scattering world. यो दुईटा कुराहरु, knowledge scattering world, ज्ञान चाहिँ छरपष्ट छरिएको छ, and another one is what diverse needs of the learners. सिकारुको आवश्यकता विविध छ, हैन? In such context, so using supplementary material is useful. So we finish this content, okay? Supplementary materials for especially can ask this kind of questions. Thank you. यो नोट मैले पठाइदिसकेको छु है, यो चाहिँ तपाईहरु पाउनुहुन्छ. Now we go next topic, that is designing test items. So test items, or let's say testing, is not given separately. It is under the curriculum. You have to understand, testing part is one component of curriculum, English curriculum, lower secondary English curriculum. You have to understand, and the test items can also be asked in exam. So this is the area of Unit 5. Unit 5 बाट सोध्न सक्ने हो यो टेस्ट आइटम्स भनेको हैन. फर एक्जाम्पल, design any 4 test items to test the vocabulary knowledge of lower secondary level students. यस्तो भन्न सक्छ हैन. जस्तै some sample questions I have prepared, like how do you test the vocabulary knowledge of your lower secondary level students, हैन? How do you test the vocabulary knowledge of your lower secondary level students? Design at least 4 test items to test vocabulary knowledge of the students. To test 4 items, 4 test items to test vocabulary knowledge of the students. Design any 5 test items to test guided writing skill of the lower secondary level students. यस्तो भन्दिन नि सक्छ. 5 वटा आइटम भन्ने बित्तिकै 2 नम्बरले गर्दाखेरि 10 नम्बरको हुन्छ. So prepare a set of 4 different objective questions to test reading skills of the lower secondary level students. अब objective question भन्ने 4 different types of objective questions. Objective question भन्ने बित्तिकै answers are there, they just have to select, like matching, fill in the blanks, complete the table. It's the type of objective question हरु चाहिँ बनाउनु पर्यो. How do you test oral skills of your lower secondary level students? Design any 3 test items to test oral skills of the students. This kind of questions may ask सोध्न सक्छ हैन. So designing test items can be asked from curriculum section of Unit 5. Unit 5 बाट सोध्न सक्ने एरिया हो यो. So let's have brief discussion about specification grid. You understand it, and then testing briefly. We talk about testing, especially not all proficiency test, achievement test, placement test, diagnostic test. सबै कुरा गर्दैन हामीले मात्र एउटा टेस्ट जुन हामीले स्कुल एजुकेसन सिस्टममा युज गरिराखेका छौँ त्यो टेस्टलाई चाहिँ हामी कुरा गर्छौँ आज हैन. Then we also check some we also check the specification grid. We have new specification grid of grade 6 to 8. They said so. You should be familiar about this, you know. Your 5 page ko cha test specification chart and model questions for external examination, you know. So 25 marks for reading and 25 marks for writing, and 50 marks for the external assessment and 50 marks for the internal assessment. We have this kind of system. And question types, what kind of question we have to design, like for the reading, to test reading skills of the students, true false, fill in the blanks, multiple choice, matching, ordering, short question answer. And these are the different types, different test items. Test items question, okay. Test item means question, true false, test item, fill in the gaps, test item, multiple choice, test item, matching, ordering, short answer questions, these. And for the writing part, here mainly 3 areas are focused, like punctuation, guided writing, free writing. These are the areas of testing writing skill. Punctuation part we test, guided writing part we test, free writing, essay type of writing, like short essay, official letter, personal letter can be asked. Okay, यसको चाहिँ हामीले अलि हेरौँला. Then let's discuss. Okay. Now let's start from specification grid. Specification grid, simply we understand this is a helping document for the teacher and tester. Helping document for the teacher and tester, or teaching and testing. Teacher or tester like your helping document. It is one of the tools of curriculum. So to implement curriculum vision, curriculum objectives, textbook is one document, teacher guide is another document, and specification grid is also another document. Teachers, they take support from specification grid, and they prepare their daily lesson activities, because the potential areas to be tested and the potential test items to be asked will be mentioned in the specification grid. So if teachers they base their lesson plan activities and their teaching and learning activities according to the grid, so it systematizes, it maintains the uniformity, maintains the standardization in teaching and learning process. So specification grid, simply we understand is as a helping document, supporting document for whom? Teacher and tester. Even students, they can take support from specification grid. Even not only teacher and tester, even even student, students get support from this document in course of in course of preparing exam, in course of preparing exam. So students, they see the specification grid, and they understand that the possible areas to be tested and the types of questions to be asked, they see, and they prepare accordingly for the examination. So even students get support from this document in course of preparing the exam, we can say like this. So helping document for the teacher, tester, and what even to the students. So it is one of the tools of curriculum. We understand it to check how much students have learned, what the teacher has wished them to learn. We design some test items. Then test items will be based on the specification grid. So in this sense, we can say specification grid can be one tool, one means, one way of implementing curriculum ideas. So one important thing is specification grid is what a test blueprint. Test blueprint means it is a framework. एउटा खाका हो हैन, खाका हो एउटा it is test blueprint or framework. Based on this framework, we design test items, we develop test items. So it contains or it consists of content areas to be tested. Okay, specification grid la अहिले हामीले हेरौँला फेरि. It contains what content areas. Content भयो, यसलाई consist of लेख्दिउँ है त. It consists of content areas to be tested and type of questions to be asked. कुन एरियालाई फोकस गर्ने, कस्तो क्वेशन सोध्ने भन्ने कुराहरु चाहिँ यसमा राखिएको हुन्छ के. Content areas to be tested, types of questions to be asked, and the marks to be allocated, and the marks to be allocated. कति नम्बरको हैन, कति नम्बरको सोध्ने भन्ने कुराहरु यसमा हुन्छ है त. स्पेसिफिकेसन ग्रिड, it consists of content to be tested, content हुन्छ, and then type of questions to be asked, कस्तो क्वेशन सोध्ने उल्लेख गरेको हुन्छ, and marks to be allocated, कति नम्बर दिने भन्ने कुरा उल्लेख गरेको हुन्छ. So these are the core areas of specification grid. So it guides to the teacher, guides to the teacher and tester. Already we said this. Teacher teacher can prepare daily lesson activities according to the grid. So tester also designs test items based on the grid. It helps to systematize overall teaching and testing process. So we conclude that specification grid, if used systematically, principally, it systematizes, it standardizes overall testing and teaching process in English class. In this way you understand. हामीले ग्रिड नै हेर्छौँ अहिले, ग्रिडका कन्टेन्टहरु हेरिसकेपछि अझै थाहा हुन्छ. So testing part is how we understand it. Simply testing means checking or scrutinizing how far the students have learned what the teacher wishes them to learn. हैन, टिचरले यति कुरा बच्चाले सिकिदियो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने जुन एक्सपेक्टेसन हुन्छ नि, त्यो सिके कि सिकेन भनेर चेक गर्ने माध्यम चाहिँ टेस्टिङ हो हैन. टेस्टिङ इज द प्रोसेस अफ एक्जामिनिङ or scrutinizing, examining or checking, how we say, it is the process of examining, scrutinizing, checking how far the students have learned what the teacher wishes them to learn. विश गरेको हुन्छ, यति कुरा चाहिँ एक्सपेक्ट गरेको हुन्छ, यति कुरा चाहिँ सिकिदियो हुन्थ्यो बच्चाले यो लेसनबाट भन्ने हुन्छ हैन. सो दैट स्टुडेन्ट्स हैव learned or not, to check that we use what test items. So simply we understand this like this. And there are different types of test. If we see the literature of testing, for example, like we have proficiency test, proficiency test. Then we have placement test, and then we have achievement test. We have diagnostic test, So there are different types of tests we can use, and they have different purpose also, They have different purpose. But in our school system, school education system, we mainly use this achievement test. यो achievement test लाई चाहिँ हामीले बढी बुझ्नुपर्छ है, because from beginning to end of every academic session or academic year, we use different types of achievement tests to see how much students have learned what they are expected to learn. होइन, तिनीहरूले यति कुरा सिकिदियो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने कुराहरू सिकेको सिकेन भनेर चेक गर्ने भनेको अचिभमेन्ट टेस्ट हो. सो पर्टिकुलरली वी फोकस अन डिजाइनिङ टेस्ट आइटम्स अफ achievement test. So achievement test can also be seen from two perspectives. Duita achievement test from two perspectives we understand. One is what progress achievement test. Progress achievement test. Another is what final achievement test. Final achievement test. Two types of tests are under the achievement test. Progress achievement test and final achievement test. Progress achievement test, we use to see how much progress has been made during the teaching and learning process. Example दियो भने तपाईं बुझ्नुहुन्छ. For example, like class work, class work also one kind of test, then project work, project work, then home assignment, ASSIG, home assignment. So monthly, weekly test, weekly test, monthly test, monthly test. These are examples of are examples of progress achievement test. PROGRE progress achievement test. कति प्रश्न गरिरहेछ त भनेर हामी हेर्नै चाहियो के. This is what progress achievement test, like class work, project work, home assignment or homework, weekly test, class test, monthly test, and these are what the different examples of progress achievement test. We do this, we conduct in our English class, and this is important. This is formative also. This is what formative in nature. Formative in nature. Formative means this is the main purpose of this is what to improve, not to decide, declare, announce the result. Certification. Certification dinu bhanda pani formative type huncha, just to see the areas of improvement, and feedback sharing will be there, and in the next step they try to improve, they try to correct and learn. So this is in nature formative type. Feedback sharing will be there. यहाँ चाहिँ feedback sharing हुन्छ feedback sharing happens here. यहाँ चाहिँ त्यो हुन्छ. And final achievement test, to upgrade, decide, make decision, to make a decision. Decision we use what? We use this final achievement test. There is no feedback sharing activity, but finally we standardize, we verify, we make decision, then we upgrade students into upper grades. So this is what final achievement test. यो दुईटा चाहिँ हामीले बुझ्नुपर्छ, final achievement test and progress achievement test. And especially we focus on achievement test in our school education system. यसलाई हेर्छौं. So अब achievement test को बारेमा थोरै कुरा बुझौं. Like what the teacher has taught or what has to be taught. Now while designing achievement test, should we focus what the teacher has taught or what has to be taught? शिक्षकले के पढायो त्यही अनुसारले क्वेशन बनाउने हो, अथवा के पढाउनु थियो, के पढाउनु पर्ने थियो, कस्तो पढाउनु पर्ने थियो, त्यही अनुसारले क्वेशन डिजाइन गर्ने हो. ल भन्नुस् त, च्याट बक्समा लेख्नुस् त. What the teacher has taught or what has to be taught while designing test items of achievement test. While designing test items should the tester consider what the teacher has taught or what has to be taught. हैन यो कुन चाहिँ हो while designing test item should the test item designer consider what the teacher has taught or what has to be taught के पढाउनु पर्ने हो अथवा शिक्षकले के पढायो त्यो हेरेर चाहिँ टेस्ट आइटम्स डिजाइन गरिन्छ त हैन so what has to be taught is both. Yes, you have written both also. What has to be taught also. What has to be taught. Okay. Yes. What about formative and summative tests? Okay. Now see here. Here you have written mixed type of ideas, like most of you have said that what has to be taught should be focused while designing achievement test. That's right. Not the what the teacher has taught. शिक्षकले के पढायो भनेर ध्यान दिने नै होइन क्वेशन बनाउँदाखेरि. क्वेशन बनाउने भनेको करिकुलमको अब्जेक्टिभ्स हेर्ने हो. करिकुलमको अब्जेक्टिभ्स भनेको के हो? What has to be taught. के पढाउने भन्दाखेरि करिकुलमको अब्जेक्टिभ्सलाई फोकस गरेर पढाउने हो हैन. So because of this, what we say is even in the absence of textbook we can teach English. Textbook नहुँदाखेरि पनि पढाउन सकिन्छ के English. We have supplementary materials like newspaper, we have dictionary, and we have other songs, games, rhymes, pictures, there are stories, a lot of supplementary materials we can find and we can use in the classroom to achieve the objectives of the curriculum. त्यो reality चाहिँ हैन. त्यही भएर शिक्षकले के पढायो भनेर क्वेशन झिक्ने होइन कि करिकुलमको अब्जेक्टिभ्स के हो. what are the learning outcomes of listening, what are the learning outcomes of speaking, what are the learning outcomes of reading and writing, what are the areas from grammar to be tested, vocabulary, functions, pronunciation, यो कुरा चाहिँ करिकुलममा हुन्छ. and these are the things based on which we design the test items, not what the teacher has taught. शिक्षकले के पढायो भनेर सोच्ने होइन कि करिकुलममा के छ अब्जेक्टिभ्स, त्यसको आधारमा चाहिँ क्वेशनहरु डिजाइन गर्ने हो. then if question is designed based on curriculum objectives, then it fits to all across the country. होइन भने तपाईको एनईबी नेशनल एजुकेसन बोर्ड ले बनाएको क्वेशन अथवा भनौं हामीले कुनै डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेभलमा बनाएको क्वेशन चाहिँ सबै कन्टेक्स्टमा कसरी एप्लिकेबल हुन्छ त हैन. एउटा because teaching is individual activity. The way I teach, the way another teacher teaches, the way another teacher teaches will be different. फरक हुन्छ पढाउने तरिकाहरु हैन. तर उले कसरी पढायो के पढायो भनेर ध्यान दिनु भन्दा पनि what has focused in the curriculum, that should be focused while designing test items हैन. So this we have to understand. So achievement test should not यहाँ अर्को तपाईले formative र summative पनि कुरा गर्नु भएको छ. First teacher has to teach what has to be taught, and one and only answer will be teacher has to test what. Okay, so it is clear. Yeah, curriculum is the core document. Curriculum is guiding document to teaching and testing for both activities. So curriculum is the main core document. So while testing, we have to check the curriculum objectives. While teaching, we have to check the curriculum objectives and activities. So curriculum has such kind of importance, significance. The formative and summative, you have said that here. Simply, you can understand formative is formative test is we design to improve the situation. It goes continuously. It goes continuously. The aim is to improve, not to prove or not to verify or not to what standardize or what to decide. हामीले निर्णय गर्नको लागि कक्षा अपग्रेड गर्नको लागि यस्तोको लागि हामीले formative test use गर्दैन formative test भनेको त just to improve the teaching and learning process in course of teaching हैन for example just class work we give and we check students knowledge their ability, then we give them feedback, we point out their weaknesses, problems, then we point out, then students they improve there and they go learning so this is formative. Summative means summative test means yes summative test means this is what just to upgrade to decide. Decision making is here to make decision decision making and verification then verification verify गर्नु पर्यो decision making को लागि upgrade गर्नको लागि we use what a summative test. This is at the last of academic session or academic year we use summative test. So they have so formative and summative they have a different purpose. फरक उद्देश्य छ यिनीहरुको हैन. So we have to understand formative continuously, summative at the last we conduct. Then you understand achievement test should not necessarily reflect what the teacher has taught, rather it should reflect what has to be taught. Curriculum objectives and learning outcomes are the guiding points to design test items. We focus on the that. So should achievement test measure what the teacher has taught? This is clear. And testing now, our testing तिर जानु पर्यो. अब टेस्टिङ तिर जाँदाखेरि अब क्वेशन सोध्ने भनेको तपाईहरुलाई जस्तै मैले यहाँ माथि दिएको थिइन यसरी नै सोध्ने हो. How do you test the vocabulary knowledge of your lower secondary level students? अब टेस्ट आइटम बनाउने हो हामीले यसमा चाहिँ एक्जामलाई सम्झेर when you are going to prepare or design test items to test vocabulary, what kind of test items you develop, like vocabulary lagi here just sample this kind of test items you can design. Read the given passage and match the words in column A with their similar meanings in column B. This kind of matching test item can be used to test students vocabulary knowledge. Like in the one column there will be the words, in another column there will be the meanings, they match. This kind of activity we use in the class, as well as to test vocabulary knowledge we use this kind of test items matching, and complete the following dialogue with the appropriate sentences in the box. This kind of test items also we use, especially this kind of test items we use for in testing speaking oral skills also, as well as guided writing. Guided writing ko part pani ho yo. Guidelines are given here, some guidelines are given and some blank spaces are there, and students they just read the blank spaces with the guidelines, then they select, they choose the particular sentence or word and they fill the gaps. So this kind of guided writing or oral skill development test we can use in the exam. अब यहाँ हेर्दाखेरि पहिला कसरी बुझाउँ भने here so we have to test reading, we have to test writing, we have to test listening, we have to test speaking, we have to test vocabulary, we have to test speaking bhaiyalyo हैन. So to test these different skills and aspects we have to design the test items. Question सोध्न सक्छ, design any 3 or any 4 test items to test listening, to test speaking, to test reading, to test writing, to test vocabulary, to test grammar भन्छ. Grammar भनेकै तपाईको writing section मा आउने हो हैन. So in this way testing the ability to speak is most important aspect of language testing. In many tests of oral production it is neither possible nor desirable to separate the speaking skills from the listening skills. So oral skills भनेको यही हो. स्पिकिङ छुट्टै टेस्ट गर्ने, लिसनिङ छुट्टै टेस्ट गर्ने भन्ने सम्भव पनि हुँदैन र यसलाई त्यसरी आशा पनि गरेको एक्सपेक्ट पनि गरेको हुँदैन. दे कम टुगेदर. Clearly, in normal speech situations, the two skills are independent, interdependent. It is impossible to hold any meaningful conversation without understanding what is being said. Without listening, how can we speak? So the possible oral test items are given like this. Reading aloud, we can use these test items. Reading aloud, we can ask, we can provide one simple reading text to the students, and we ask them to read it loudly. We just want to check their pronunciation. We just want to check their word power. We just want to check their what pronunciation and pronunciation words, spelling. These things we want to check. And conversational exercise we can give, like cute dialogue, or some key points, guidelines we can give. Then they can what two students in pair, they can exchange their active. Picture describing can be, oral interview can be, role playing can be, short talks can be. These are different test items to test oral skills of the students, like this. And अब डेभलप नै भन्छ हैन, डेभलप भन्यो भने यसरी नै बनाउनु पर्छ. वाट आर भन्यो भने लिस्टिङ गरिदिने हो. Develop or design भन्यो भने then we have to design, like multiple choice. Then just here we mention some questions. यहाँ multiple choice को के क्वेशनहरु हामी दिन्छौं यहाँ हैन. Then here multiple choice, you understand हैन. One statement will be here and some words will be missed, and the expected answer will be in the bracket with options सहित हुन्छ हैन. त्यो बनाइदिनु होला. Matching भन्यो भने like this, listen to the audio file and audio text and match the words in column A with their meanings in column B. In this way, this is just sample हो हैन. This kind of knowledge you are expected to demonstrate. त्यति एक्सपेक्ट गरेको हुन्छ हामीसँग हैन. Fill in the blanks, short question answer, true false. These are some possible test items. Any 4, any 3 भन्ला हैन. Just you remember, multiple MCQ हुन्छ, matching हुन्छ, fill in the blanks, short question answer, true false हुन सक्छ हैन. So what alternatives can be adapted for the students who have hearing problems? So sometimes this kind of question can also be asked. In listening, if the students have hearing problems, then they cannot listen properly and they cannot do the tasks well. So for them, some kind of alternative should be there. For this, paragraph writing on a topic can be given, writing a letter can be given, writing a description of something can be given. This is alternative option. In listening, if students have hearing problem. So developing speaking test items, develop any 4 test items to test speaking skills of the lower secondary level. What just 2-3 sentences you write about speaking. The speaking test will be administered practically. Practical part is that the test starts with greeting and introducing to make the students feel comfortable. This will not carry any marks. The speaking test consists of the following types: an introduction, interview, like the students will be asked at least any 3 questions on their personal affairs and immediate situation, like how are you preparing for the exam? What will you study after grade 10 or after grade 8? Grade 8. What's your aim in life? Do you like English? Why not? This kind of opinion seeking type of question we can ask. Then this is what opinion seeking. Opinion खोज्ने हो क्या हाम्रो यो OPINION opinion seeking type of test. We can use like interview भन्दिनु हैन. Interview is what one test item. And when we use this interview test item, just we ask a couple of questions like how are you preparing for the exam? What will you study after grade 8? What's your aim in life? Do you like English? Why not? This is what just opinion seeking type of test items we can use. And the picture description can also be used to test speaking skill. Like the students will be given a picture of or a set of pictures, they are expected to describe the picture in at least 6 sentences, 5 sentences. Now look at this picture and speak 5 sentences about this picture. Then what? Accordingly, we allocate the marks. Speaking on a given topic, and my school, my hobby, my family, we provide topic. Then we ask students to speak, to give a speech on the given topic. This kind of also we can do. And alternative test items for students who with visual difficulties. If students they cannot see, they have visual difficulties, then they cannot describe picture or describe on a sakdaina. Then for them alternatives can be के गए दिपेन्द्र भट्ट परियार दिपेन्द्र पोखरेल आयोग सेकेन्ड पेपर तपाईँले किन एनोटेसन चलाइरहेको हो मैले तपाईलाई रिमुभ गर्दै है दिपेन्द्र ओके यस्तो टेस्ट आइटम्स स्पिकिङमा डिजाइन गर्न सकिन्छ हैन जस्तै one topic can be given and students speak their idea they speak about the topic within particular time like 1 minute 2 minute is the time दिन सकिन्छ then they start speaking they will get 1 minute time to think over the topic and then they will speak on the topic this will also be done individually even in pair also you can do especially this is suitable for the individual work हैन so speaking को any three भन्यो भने तपाईले interview भन्दिनुस् describing picture भन्दिनुस् speaking on a given topic भन्दिनुस् हैन this can be what test items अनि यस्तै डिजाइन नै भन्यो भने यस्तै लेखिदिनुस् इन्टरभ्यु भन्नुस् अनि तीन चारवटा क्वेशनहरु लेखिदिनुस् describing picture भन्नुस् अनि दुई तीनटा सेन्टेन्स लेखिदिनुस् हैन like यसलाई नै सेन्टेन्स बनाइदिनु न the students will be given a picture or set of pictures हैन then they are expected to describe at least describe the picture in at least 6 sentences हैन they are expected भन्दा they are asked भनौं हैन they are asked to describe the picture in at least 6 sentences that's finish यति भन्दैन अब यहाँ पिक्चर ल्याएर राख्न सम्भव हुँदैन just sample framework we provide यति भनेपछि यसले चाहिँ टेस्टिङ बुझा रहेछ भन्ने थाहा हुन्छ हैन so this is just sample students will be given topic like भन्नुस् and then this you write you पनि complete छ now visually difficulties students we can use alternative option कस्तो हुन्छ भने for the students with visual difficulties we can ask to narrate a sequence of events instead of text to describing pictures यहाँ सबै चाहिँ प्रब्लम हुँदैन इन्टरभ्यु visually impaired or visually difficulties students can listen and speak it's fine interview it's okay then describing picture this is difficult for them so instead of asking these test items we can use another alternative activity or test items like narrating the events narrating events चाहिँ दिन सकिन्छ हामीले उसलाई हैन. And speaking on a given topic, this can also be done by the students who have visual difficulties or visually impaired. यति गर्न सकिन्छ हैन. र टेस्टिङ रिटन स्किल्स अथवा रिडिङ एन्ड राइटिङमा जाँदाखेरि सो गाइडेड राइटिङ, फ्री राइटिङ, punctuation, and then grammar part, this will be under the writing. And reading part, you understand, simply like listening ko jastै हो reading ko हैन. Listening comprehension, reading comprehension हैन. Listening is also what, receptive skill, reading also receptive skill हैन. So true false we can use in listening, we can use in what, reading also. Fill in the blanks, matching, ordering, we can use in listening, we can use in reading also. So reading and listening, they are to large extent they are similar. So test items उस्तै हुन सक्छ reading र listening को हैन. Like fill in the blanks, matching, multiple choice, ordering, short question answer, TF items हैन. So these are what, these are the similar test items can be used both listening and reading skills हैन. So question can ask like what are the test types of testing reading skills of lower secondary level. So you simply test items सँग परिचित हुनु हो हैन. Question from this area may ask like सिधै तपाईलाई design in at least 4 test items to test reading skills of the lower secondary level students. Here one test items 2 marks गरेर 8 marks हुन्छ हैन. अथवा यहाँ तपाईको 5 नै भनिदिन सक्छ हैन. 5 टेस्ट आइटम्स भन्यो भने टक्कै यो प्र्याक्टिकली जाने हो यसमा चाहिँ हैन. TF आइटम्स भनिदिनुस् हैन. TF टेस्ट आइटम्स एउटा हैन. TF टेस्ट आइटम्स एउटा भयो. And just here you can write हैन, like write T for true statement and F for false statement. ए लेखिदिनु STATEMENT statement. ए लेखिदिनु हो. यहाँ चाहिँ तपाईको ABCD हरु लेखिदिनुस् हैन. Like this हैन. यहाँ चाहिँ sample लेखिदिनु हो. Sample कुनै sentence लेखिदिउ. Some sentences are wrong, some sentences are right. So need not to be exact, specific. तपाईको आफ्नो general sentence लेखिदिनुस् र ब्राकेट मा लेखिदिनुस्. यहाँ यस्तो बनाइदिउ. ल यस्तै राखौँ अहिलेलाई. यसै राख्दिउँ हैन. डेभलपमेन्ट भनेकै यही हो. डिजाइन or develop test items to test reading skills भन्यो भने यसरी गर्न सकिन्छ हैन. So if you do like this, it's okay. And then writing ko pani, so what are the test items of testing writing skills to the lower secondary level students हैन. भन्यो भने guided writings like we can use like this, the description of table, charts and diagrams, skeleton story, message of the condolence and invitation letter, message of the congratulation, Thanksgiving letter, based on what some guidelines dinu parcha. We provide some guidelines, then they are asked to expand, and when they expand, they describe the tables. When they expand, they produce the story. When they expand, they produce the what message of condolence. When they expand, they produce invitation letter. When they expand, they write congratulation letter. In this way, so some based on some clues, guidelines, and they develop what this kind of guided writing. Free writing, you understand, this is what opinion seeking, expressing view, opinions, experiences, like paragraph writing, leave application, job application, essay writing, personal letter, news paper article, these things we can use. अब हामी उसलाई हेरौं ग्रिडलाई. Now you have to read this. So this is what the final examination. The final examination is based on. Final examination means this final achievement test. I know it's based on the written text, which covers reading and writing skills. Grammar is incorporated in writing section. The test follows the following test specification chart. When you design reading test items for the reading, you can use what this kind of question types: true, false, fill in the blanks, multiple choice, matching, ordering. यो दियो हैन. So writing part, the areas of writing, what punctuation will be, then guided writing will be, free writing will be, and these are the what guided writing part. Oh, let's say writing part. Grammar, grammar. Two types of grammar will be asked. One is what reproduction type of grammar. Another is what that is contextual grammar. Grammar ma reproduction type को सोधिन्छ केही चाहिँ multiple choice हुन्छ जुन passage मा हुन्छ, contextual हुन्छ. These two types of grammatical items will be tested. For example, we give the instruction like change the following sentences as indicated in the bracket. भन्यो one just active sentence is given, and in the bracket we have written passive sentence. This kind of grammatical test items we design one. Another one is just we prepare one passage, and there some words will be removed, and then words are related to grammatical items. Article might be, preposition might be, connectives and conditional sentence, subject verb agreement might be, will be removed, and students they read and they what supply the necessary information there. So this is the way of designing grammatical test items. अब यहाँ मोडल क्वेशन सेट दिएको छ ग्रेड 6 को यो हेर्यो भने पनि यसले one passage is given, and based on this passage, and these are the answers, questions and test items. हो यो, and reading passage is given. This is what test items. Read the text and complete the given sentences, or read the text and fill in the blanks. Read the text and fill in the blanks. Here you can write read the given text and fill in the gaps or blanks. Read the text and write true, false. Read the text and match. Read the text and complete. This kind of test items we can design. And this is reading. Reading ko like answer the following question, or you writing ko you punctuate the following text भनेको this kind of ये ठक्कै punctuation writing को सोध्यो भने तपाईले यो बनाइदिन सक्नुहुन्छ. Punctuate the following text भनिदिने. Then yes, she replied, I threw a stone at the mango tree. Here what we can do is we can use some words, some letter, or some mechanics wrong in the passage, and students they read and find out what are the wrongs, and they correct. Punctuation can be, capitalization can be, agreement can be. यिनीहरु चाहिँ punctuate गर्दियौ हैन. जस्तै capital letter word सुरु हुनुपर्ने हैन. अनि गएर तपाईको चाहिँ मेकानिक्सहरु हेर्ने, कमा, फुल स्टप, क्वेशन मार्कहरु हेर्ने, त्यस्तो बनाइदिएर एउटा सानो simple text we can give, and students they have to read and they have to correct punctuation, they have to correct mechanics, they have to correct spelling. So this is what under the punctuation, punctuating. So this under the writing. This kind of test, this is test item. This is test item, one test item to test writing skill of the students. And write a description of one of your friends. Write 100 to 150 words, include the information about the following. This is what? This is guided writing. भने तपाईलाई design any 3 test items to test guided writing of the students. Lower secondary level students, अथवा grade 6 students, grade 7 students, grade 8 students भन्यो भने, then you can write this. Punctuate the following text is one test items to test guided writing, and this number 6 is it is another test items to test guided writing. यहाँ पनि some guidelines are given, then students are asked what to describe using the given points. Then imagine that you were ill and visited a doctor yesterday. The doctor has advised you to take a rest for at least a week, write an application letter to your class. Now this kind of writing test items we can design to test students writing skill. Now choose the best answer to complete the sentences and rewrite them. This is what from the grammar section. This is test items to test the grammatical knowledge of the students. Vocabulary items I already showed you. Vocabulary lagi matching type of we can give, completing type of we can give. For the grammar, two types of. One is reproduction type of. Reproduction means they do is instructed in the question. Choose the best answer or do according to the instruction given in the bracket. This kind of can be in the grammar part, writing part, reading part, speaking part, listening part. So यो चाहिँ तपाईले चार पाँचवटा तयारी गर्नुभयो भने it will be okay from the testing part. So guided, free, and controlled writing, there are the different types of writing and writing activities. So how we can understand is when students are asked to write free type of writing, they try to express their own internal feelings and meanings. At that time, they can make many mistakes. So to control the mistakes in students writing, we provide some kind of guidelines, some framework, some skeleton. That is what guided writing. I know we provide some kind of guidelines, some kind of framework, some kind of hints we provide, clues we provide, because that control, that guide students to minimize their errors in writing, to control their errors in their writing. Then we use guided writing. This is guided writing. Then control writing is what this is for the beginners especially useful. In the control writing, teacher has maximum control. Students just they read and they choose the appropriate words, appropriate idea, appropriate structure. So they are not free to select. They are not free to select. They are not free to select their own words, their own structure, their own opinions. They are not free. They are compelled. They are controlled. Options are there, answers are there. Just they have to select from there. That is control. Guided means some guidelines will be given. Based on that guidelines, they have to elaborate. They have to expand. They have to make detail. त्यो चाहिँ guided हो. Guided किन दिएको भन्दाखेरि just you understand, students if they write freely, they can or they may commit many errors in their writing. The errors like control गर्न चाहिँ guided writing there. Okay, when slowly students they become confident in their writing, we go to the free writing. Free writing तिर जाने हो. So first control writing, then guided writing, then free writing. किन यो sequence मै जान्छ भने so we understand control writing because students are not confident and competent in the selection of their words, in the selection of their structure, sentences. So they need maximum support from the teacher. So controlled, just answers are given there and they have to read and select. Control type of control. Then guided, now slowly releasing them independent. Bistari independent बनाउनु पर्यो उनीहरुलाई, release गर्नु पर्यो. Some guidelines we provide and some kind of freedom they have to select their words, to select their structures, to select their patterns, but not completely free. So they slowly try to expand, try to elaborate, try to stretch their writing. And free writing is what they are free to express their opinions, feelings, to select their words, to select their structures, to select their patterns. That is what that is free writing. So grammar, 5 marks of that reproduction type of is under the free controlled writing, we can say, because answers, exact answer is there, that should be correct, that should be selected, given there. So in this way, I'll send this grid also. You grid pani sara हेर्नु This is just sample grid is there, then content to be tested, content to be tested, and then questions to be asked, marks to be allocated given here. This is the specification grid. Then sample model question answer questions are also given here. Then questions in exam can be asked like test design test items to test listening, to test speaking, to test reading and writing bhन्छ हैन, त्यही अनुसारले जानु होला हैन. So let's conclude today. अब हामी so we discuss this designing test items also, specification grid also, and tomorrow we discuss next topic. Okay. ल के क्वेशन छ भने छलफल गरौँ, नत्र नि क्लोज गरौँ आजलाई. यताबाट पनि हेरौँ अनि त्यता ग्रिडबाट पनि हेरौँ हैन. वी क्यान डु. मैले पठाइराखेको छु यो पीडीएफ. So you contact to the administration. Control writing को example तपाईको जस्तै ग्रामर को छ नि, यही control writing example हो के. For example, just a minute. Now see here. We said that grammar part is tested under the writing section. Writing मा हुने हो हैन. ल भाइ यहाँ हेर्नुस्. The question number 8. Question number 8 मा choose the best answer to complete the sentences and rewrite them. यो कुन writing हो त यो? So students are not free to select their own structures. They are not free to give their opinions, to give in this and that, because exact answer is there. That answer should pick up and should fill in the gap. This is what control writing. Free chaina ke. So this kind of matching, filling can be what completing, transforming can be what the control type of writing. Like and guided type of writing, like description of any events, person, thing, animal, pie chart, diagram, picture, then developing skeleton, and then expanding cute dialogue in your guided writing there is. So control means that fill in the blanks, completing, matching, translating, transforming, transcribing. These will be what control type of. Yes, dialogue can be what this is the under the guided writing. Yes, thank you.